All righty. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Thursday. We know what that means. My name is Casey Halpern, and I'm thrilled to be joined by co-host of the Deep Dive podcast and director of content over at BetSperts, Andy Molitor. Andy, it's great to see you. How we doing?
We're doing all right. It's a football game. They're gonna play a football game tonight. I mean, I've watched college football games worse than this probably, and who knows? Like, there's some people talking. Maybe we're overselling it. Maybe it's a contrarian over, and it's a fun game. But man, I watched these two teams a little bit last week. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure what the path to that is. I'd like somebody to explain it to me.
It would be an interesting one, but we'll get into the over/under in a bit here. But as you said, you watched these two teams last week. I actually had the good fortune of not watching a single snap of Patriots Chargers because every time they showed it on Red Zone, I was forced to watch the dreaded Jets Falcons. So it was kind of a lose-lose.
It wasn't much better.
No, it wasn't much better, but watched the Steelers Cardinals, which got delayed for about 7 hours. And it's still going on. No one knows if it actually ended or not. But it should be a doozy. But before we get into it, I have a very pressing question for you. Any relation to the Baseball Hall of Famer Paul Molitor?
No, I don't. Well, the answer is probably. So I did like an etymology search of the last name, and like 90% of the Molitors in the world live in, Wisconsin, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa. And I never met the guy, but there's only like 8,000 of us total. So like, I kind of feel like I have to be related, at least distantly. But yeah, not getting free tickets or anything. And I lived out in Wisconsin for a while. It's even worse out there because of, he was a brewer forever. And oh my God, just everywhere you go. If you had to, when I first moved out there, I was like 21, 22. So I showed my, kind of over by Wisconsin Dells. If anybody likes a little indoor water park action, but so I was showing my ID a lot. And Christ Almighty, you couldn't buy a beer without, Oh yeah, you know Paul? Yeah, you guys like him here, huh?
There's one thing I always wanted.
Ill-fated managerial expedition up here.
Yeah, well, Rocco took the reins, and it seems like you guys are for the better for it. I didn't realize you lived in Wisconsin. I went to Madison, so I know the area well. It's a tremendous, tremendous state.
Yeah, that's not to get off on too much of a tangent. I hate that city. If you're from there, I suppose you'll get it, but it's built in a circle, like some sort of weird.
It's an isthmus.
The people who like designed it and the lakes and the way the water is, I've gotten lost so bad there every time I've gone. So I just shoot right past it to Milwaukee every time.
I've done it many times, and best part is I don't really remember it, so it's okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's start off with Thursday Night Football and kind of work our way down the board. Steelers Pats. The current line on Profit Exchange is Steelers minus 5.5, minus 103. You could get Pats plus 5.5 at even money and over under of 30. If you were forced to pick a side or total in this game, what would you go with?
I'd probably ride the Pats. And I know that's gross, but laying this many points with Mitch Trubisky, even against this team is something. And you have seen some game day money come in on the Patriots. And it was a weird market where it felt like there was some Steelers money, and then Patriots money came in, and then right away when it got down to 5, it got slammed back up.
Right.
And then today, game day money's kind of been on the Pats, but it's not like, it's strong money. We've driven it down to the 3.5. To go from a 6 to 5.5 probably isn't taking a lot of pressure from the market. But that said, I'll ride with the late game day money if I had to do anything, because it's not a game I'm super excited. Like, even prop wise, I found a couple props. Basically told myself, like, hey, the best player on the Patriots might be Zeke Elliott, which is real bad right now. Real rough what they're set up with. So I did play some just based on usage and what they've done the last couple of weeks with how much, like 30 carries combined between the running backs the last couple of weeks. You'd think Zeke probably a minimum 30-70, a 70-30 split with, I think it's JaMychal Hasty is your backup now. So they're getting down to the bottom of the barrel on some of the skill position players up in New England.
It's quite crazy how the mighty have fallen that a washed-up Zeke Elliott is currently their best skill position player in 2023. I personally played the Pats +6 earlier in the week, and my cousin actually right before this, he called me because I help him with his pick'em pool. He goes, "Please don't tell me we're taking the Pats." I go, "Oh yeah, buddy, we are." He goes, "Why?" I literally just gave him one reason. I go, "You can't lay 6 points with Mitch Trubisky. I don't care," and that's the only reason why I'm taking the Pats. So I'm holding my nose.
And Harris is dinged up. They've got some players out too. It could just be. I mean, it could be similar to last week. We're just really low scoring, really close game. Maybe they don't kick that second field goal. 3-0 wins.
It could be. Speaking of 3-0, we have a few props I want to run through. The game stinks, but the props at Profit Exchange don't. We've got 15 tonight, and there's some fun ones. I want to get your rapid fire thoughts on all of them, but we're going to save the special one for last. So I'm going to pull up the odds currently. Just give me a second, and I just want rapid fire yes or no for all of them. If I can figure out which tab I'm presenting on. All right. Mitch Trubisky over under 2 passing TDs. Absolutely not.
No, even at that huge price, that's a no.
That is,
yeah. It looks like the liquidity is available there too.
If anyone wants to come and get gobble it up for over 3K.
Yeah, you can take 3 to win 1.
Patriots to win 13. Patriots to score 13 plus points.
It's probably still a no, especially at that price, -111. The team total is like 11.5 at a lot of places.
I don't think they've scored over 10 points in a month, which is awesome.
No, they didn't score last time. I think they had 3 the week before. Yeah, give me the no there.
I like it, -111. I think they'll end at 10. Deontay Johnson over under 45 receiving yards. I like the over here.
I kind of do too, based on. I mean, they have some good secondary pieces, but I'd be focused on the other guy. I mean, Pickett probably draws some coverage, and Johnson actually gets open.
Pickens over under 40. Surprised he has a lower over under.
Yeah, that's low. But like I said, if they get good safety help on him, that's pretty close. I'd probably just take that. I'd take the no, just because I getting plus number on that.
Bill's got a knack for taking away the best skill player, so do with that what you will. Maserati Mitch, over under 185 through the air.
Man. So, it's probably still a no. I bet if I went and looked at the people's projections I use, it's probably like 175, 170. I guess a big number for a guy coming in. Short week, too. Not only that, he's a vet. He's been around, but still, short week, getting ready to start. That sucks.
It is. It's a low number for a starting back in 2023. It's crazy. Muth, over under 30.
I'll take the over there. They've been finding him a lot lately.
They have. I'll take the over here, but I'll throw this out to you and to everyone else listening. I took Darnell Washington first touchdown 80-1. Just going to hold my nose and see what happens there. Just a little lotto ticket.
I saw some people have. Buddy took them anytime at a pretty nice price.
I got to
play. He'll be on the field.
I probably should have checked that anytime out as well, but I had a quick trigger today. Pickens versus Parker, more receiving yards.
Gosh, probably. Man, it's probably going to be Parker here. He can get the underneath stuff. I just don't know I don't know who it's going to get. If it's going to be screen passes to Zeke, if it's going to be the tight ends, if you're going to get Parker getting some slot work. And actually, you know what? I'm switching it. I'll take Pickens. It's like that's one, like they both end up in the 30s, you know?
These are truly just disgusting markets just because of the players. It's really bad. Rushing yards, Zeke and Najee. Najee might be out, so we'll skip that one.
Yeah.
Maserati Mitch versus Zappy Hour, passing yards. I love Zappy here.
Yeah, at that price, plus 138 right now on your exchange there, I'd probably take Zappy. A little more upside, especially like I said, he has a couple good tight ends. I think we can get some screen games going. Give him the easy stuff because nothing was working last time. They had to come up with something. Or they're tanking. Like they might just look like hell and like, oh, they don't want to win. Good for them. It's the right move.
It 100% is the right move. As a diehard Jets fan, unfortunately, I really hope they win because then there's a path for the Jets to sneak up to 2 if they lose to the Pats in Week 18. But we'll save that until then. Zeke to score. Yes, plus 245. No, minus 250.
That's kind of a low number. I guess I haven't looked at the anytime markets. Maybe I'm off. Maybe that's about right where it should be. But in a game that's projected for like what 3.25 touchdowns. Ooh, yeah. I'd probably lay the no. Although if they get in short yardage, obviously we love him. That's been an issue with what I've seen from Dallas this year. They kind of miss him, I think, in some of the short yardage stuff in the red zone. But yeah, I'll take a no in a low scoring game. Even though I have Zeke props.
What do you have? Over 16.5 rushing attempts or 17?
I took rushing attempts. I took receiving yards at like 14 and receptions at 2.5. Like he got 5 targets last game. He was only king shit for the last 3 quarters. I think it was Ramondre was out late first quarter. He rotates in obviously, but I think he had 17 carries, something like that. I think he gets a healthy workload. They know he can. It's not like he hasn't been a lead back.
Yeah, it's just he's runs.
He's just dust. Yeah,
he's cooked.
That's why I went with rushing attempts, not rushing yards.
I like
17 rushes for 14 yards.
He might have like one of those stat lines, like 17, 23 and a touchdown, or just something absolutely eye-openingly gross. Deontay anytime touchdown.
Oh, that's a big.
What is he scored? 1 touchdown in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a big price to play on the no, though. Yeah, I'd still have to. It's 1.2. Give me the no.
I'm with you. All right. The number one market I'm most intrigued by is brought to you by the Deep Dive Podcast. The first team to score 10 points, and it's a push if neither does. Pitt minus 205, Pats plus 186. Curious who you like here and why.
We talked a little bit about this last night, and we both did. Drew and I both did like New England just because it was close to 2-1. I think it's come down a little. There's been a little movement. It looks like some Pittsburgh money came in, though, because when I did check this earlier, I think the main offering was plus 174, 172, something along that line. So you're getting a little better price. Must have seen some Pittsburgh money come in there, but still New England just in a game where, Pickett wasn't doing much with this offense. I'm not sure what we're expecting from, Mitch at this point. Najee possibly injured. It's been a good run defense too. That's the thing. It's like Jalen Warren isn't. Boy, I'm not going to talk Zeke up anymore, but Jalen Warren hasn't been asked to step up, be that the guy against a really good run defense. This is one of the best run defenses over the last month. Granted, they've played some teams that are probably tilting that a little, but I don't know how Pittsburgh moves the ball all that well in this spot, and I'm just kind of hoping we turn into. It's funny, Pittsburgh was in this game, the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game, where Cleveland knew their offense was just garbage. So they played, you play the field position game, you get the ball, you keep getting the ball back at like the 50. Eventually, something good has to happen by accident. You get a penalty or two, and you're down in the red zone. So I think that's what New England has to do is just play tough defense here, play the field position game. And I'd start throwing some of those Flacco hospital balls, trying to get DPI. The biggest play in this game, maybe both sides should be thinking this, is get somebody on a go route where if he's just in single coverage, even if it's a receiver who can't separate, never has a chance of catching that ball, underthrow it by 10 yards, let him try to run back through the defender, get 50 yards on a DPI. That's how you get to the red zone here.
It's
start calling that play every other play.
It's a perfect recipe, especially considering the receivers on both sides. Parker, Juju, Pickens, who obviously has trouble with separation. Deontay is the only real separator, so it's a perfect recipe. I think you got to go in and coach just for a half and juice up the over a bit as well with these. This market, I like the Pats. They opened at plus 250. I'm pretty sure yesterday. I saw it yesterday morning, and obviously it appears like someone just gobbled it all up, which is pretty interesting. So it's moved pretty significantly from plus 250 to now plus 186. So do with that what you will. But I love the Pats here, and I love this market because this game, I don't even know if it's going to make it to 10. But in the event it doesn't, there's a push. So, but great idea by you and Drew. All right, let's turn the page on this slop and just kind of talk about Sunday's slate, which honestly isn't great itself. Some of the QB matchups are just absolutely vile. Just it's kind of mind-blowing where they're at in week 14 here. But which game are you looking forward to most on Sunday?
I think obviously from just a viewing standpoint and what I want to watch, the Buffalo Chiefs and then Dallas Eagles, obviously those are going to be great games, huge leverage games. Yep. Not only Buffalo kind of needs to just even stay alive, which is crazy. 12 games in telling me that they could be semi-eliminated with a loss. They'd go to 6-7, but Chiefs needed to keep pace with Baltimore and Miami in the 1 seed race. I think their division is kind of sewn up, but it's still a high leverage game for them. Both are high leverage for awards. Obviously with the MVP award, you got a couple of the favorites going at each other. They're down in Jerry World. So kind of massive and probably games I'm not super involved in. I am going to be playing some Dallas team total over. I'm not seeing a way that secondary is able to take away CD and everything else they do from an offense right now. So I think if the Eagles want to get in that one, stay in that one, they're going to have to score quite a bit. So that's maybe the only action I'll have on the 2 good games. I'm going to be betting on all the garbage games.
What's your favorite underdog pick on Sunday?
I really like Tampa. I've bet on them a few times this year, kind of picked and choosed. I think we're getting 1.5, 2 in that one. That's probably one I'll throw in teasers too, just because it's a nice teaser leg for things like that. But just see what you got at 1.5 there. Like it's Atlanta, it's Ritter. The turnovers can come in bunches with them. I don't rate that offense all that well. What they do well, obviously, is running the ball. I have Tampa rated pretty decently against the run, and Baker, I don't know if he's growing up or what. He's not hitting that weird cycle. I don't know if you remember that meme, the Baker Mayfield cycle, where he just pout and pound his chest when he was doing well. He's just kind of been a little more even keeled. He's looked a lot better. And I mean, this is a secondary that now has AJ Terrell in the concussion protocol. Akuda's been banged up. They're missing pieces. They've lost 2 pass rushers now. This defense is just going to be good anymore. It's going to be a huge liability, and you have 2 good receivers, Nevins, Godwin, and if Baker doesn't turn on me here and make me eat my words, I don't see how they don't win this game just based with their offense.
I like it. I took a little Tampa to make the playoffs at the beginning of the year just because they have a decent roster. Like the floor is there. It all just comes down to obviously Baker and Todd Bowles, who I'm not too fond of due to previous experiences with Gang Green. But I would like to see the Bucs win myself, so I'm rooting for you here. I
think they'd be tied for the division lead then. I'm not sure what the tiebreakers would be weird at that point. I'd probably be looking at like division, right? And obviously it don't matter till the end, but they'd be tied for the division lead, and obviously New Orleans could tie them as well if they won this week. It's just a mess.
That division is absolutely disgusting. Like I'm pretty sure the winner might be 7-10. So we'll see what happens as we head down the stretch. I played a little Bears as an underdog. I saw the weather report and I'm like, Jared Goff outside, freezing cold, wind, rain. Give me the Bears. I took them plus 3.5. So at even money.
That's something we advocated for on the Sunday stream. I guess I wish I had more. 3.5. I know. Is it back up to 3.5? I haven't looked at that market all afternoon.
Right now it's 3.5 minus 115 on profit and plus 3 plus 109. So
yeah, I think that's probably that's probably a decent play here too. Ragnow missed practice again. They're gonna, that was a strength of this team, having that offensive line in front of them. If they're gonna be missing their starting center, this Bears defense has been playing really well. It's just night and day. They just weren't healthy at the beginning of the year. They have a lot of players, and it's actually coming together. Not just against the run either. They're actually defending the pass halfway decent at home, outdoors, Goff. It just probably too many points in a division game. So I like that 3.5 at a reasonable price.
I'm with you. We shall see what happens. It's just an ugly slate.
That division could get real interesting too. If Chicago pulls off an upset,
so what would they?
Minnesota's favored.
Right.
Green Bay's favored. Green Bay more likely to win. I would say they're like a 6-7 point favorite over Tommy Cutlets. But if both those teams were to win and the Bears were to win as well, it'd be kind of interesting there in a division that looked like a runaway.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely feasible. I'm looking at the standings now. 9. For some reason, I can see Green Bay just dropping this one. Yeah, it just feels like this could be the game that's up on you.
There's still a lot of trepidation around people wanting to trust Jordan Love,
right?
Even though it looks good, it looks so bad 6 weeks ago,
right?
And we haven't seen it for long enough to trust it yet. Minnesota's a weird one too with Dobbs, because who knows if the really bad Dobbs that we saw at times versus Denver, if that's what you're going to get, if that's the Dobbs we saw versus Chicago, if that's what you're going to get. But I mean, if he plays at a somewhat high level that he was at when they were winning games, or even some of the games we saw in Arizona, they play the Lions twice yet. So it's like kind of some massive leverage games if Detroit does slip up here. Minnesota has some chances at them late in the year. It doesn't matter who, like, that would be a funny 4 seed. Minnesota as a 4 seed, because it would probably be like Minnesota,
Green Bay.
Well, they'd probably be the 3 seed. I think they'd still finish ahead of obviously the NFC South. So you'd have like Minnesota Green Bay or Minnesota LA as like one of these games. It'd be kind of woof at that point. But at the same time, you're probably looking at Dallas as like an 8-point road favorite at whatever NFC South team they're playing.
Can I interest you in a little CJ Beathard, Mitch Trubisky on Wild Card Weekend in the AFC?
Ooh, that's rough. That's rough.
It's a very real possibility, it seems like, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, we were kind of going through the different scenarios there of all these quarterback matches, because we joked about these quarterback matchups. You led the show with, you said that this week there's so many bad ones, and I was talking to somebody about that. I'm like, this is some of the stuff we could get in the playoffs, man. Dobbs could be in the playoffs. We could have some of these. We could have. I think Trevor could make his way back.
I hope so.
You never know with these ankles, and obviously Kenny Pickett, that surgery. I don't know how long that's going to limit them. It could be Flacco, man. Just Flacco in a playoff game would be fun. Flacco, that would be maybe set the exchange odds on that, but in the Wayback Machine. Like if you had to set odds on this for August, Flacco is in a playoff game, but Josh Allen isn't.
We like right now would be
there's not enough zeros.
It's insane, right? Like you'd have to pay a bit of a tax on it if you cashed. It would be over 300-1, definitely. Right now, it would be Mahomes, Flacco in the wild card weekend, which would just be
three Super Bowl rings between them.
Just eliteness all over the field.
Just elite, God.
Yeah,
it's going to be a weird. It's not just wild card weekend anymore. It's super wild card weekend because we have the 6 games. Right. But Jesus, yeah, my wife is killing me over this because all these Saturday games are starting to come up. Saturday is like the day I don't work. We'll do family stuff, go apple picking and go buy a Christmas tree and like hang out with the kids. Now it's like, hey, there's some games on Saturday coming up. Only around the holidays though, when you want to see family and stuff. So
right.
I'm gonna be a pain in the ass when I'm at the in-laws because I'll be in the other room watching football.
And next Saturday's 1:00 game is actually like a pretty big game with implications. Vikings Bengals. So even the
Yeah,
fourth
they're not.
one, it's close.
There's decent games up and down the slate. Triple header on Christmas. That's gonna get me in trouble. But it's fun. There's so many good games between the NBA and NFL on Christmas. It's gonna be a banger holiday.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Should be a great holiday season. All right, before I let you go, I want to get your Super Bowl matchup, and I want to get your thoughts on some awards markets.
I struggled to put anybody besides the San Francisco 49ers in from the NFC. I have them like 2.5 points clear in my power ratings from everybody right now. I mean, if they're fully healthy, they just go. I don't see how people are stopping what they're doing right now. So it's Niners and remember the Harbaugh Bowl? I know he's not over there anymore. Maybe a Niners Baltimore rematch. That'd be a good one. I'd watch that.
That's what I said 10 years ago too. So 10-year anniversary.
That was like the you referenced the Pittsburgh Arizona game. It was like that because we had the power outage. That Super Bowl took like 5 hours.
That was crazy. I mean, I was still in high school for that game. I was a high school senior, and that was one of the first actually like postseasons I ever gambled. I was riding the Ravens every single game, and it paid off. But like, granted, I was putting down like $5-10, but that's where I really fell in love with gambling. So everything comes full circle.
I won a the squares. You do Super Bowl squares. I won a squares the fourth quarter game on that. They took the intentional safety on the punt.
Yep.
And we had a buddy who was at the party with us. He's like, shit, they're gonna go out for a safety because he was on the number. And we're like, oh, Tony, that sucks. And somebody's like, well, Andy, it'd be you. I'm like, oh, yeah, screw Tony. Like, I'm taking that cabbage. He danced around a little too, which in my mind it was like forever. He was dancing around back there, but he eventually went out. I had to sweat out like 2 Kaepernick Hail Marys, I think.
I remember the last one came like pretty close.
They were kind of close.
They were moving down the field.
Worries. Yeah.
I got to watch that play after. But all right, look, hopefully 49ers Ravens Super Bowl brings you some more luck in 2024. Awards markets. If you had a vote on all these 4 today, what would you go with? Comeback player of the year.
Just take the easy out with DeMar, man. It's so easy to do.
Yeah.
He played a little defense.
You got to give it to him.
Who cares? Give it to him.
Coach of the year.
Coach, if it was right now, it's still got to be Dan Campbell, man, because not only they haven't won the division since 91. If they win the division, it's just such a shoe-in. If they go 4-1, that'll be the most game Detroit has won in like their 100-year history too, which will be all over the media. Like, he's just going to get sprayed with that as soon as they hit those marks. So I feel like he probably gets it unless they screw it up.
Interesting. Over Steichen and D'Amico.
I know that it sucks. There's so many, and even McDaniel has such a good case with a fun Miami team he's putting together, but it's a packed market this year.
It is. Defensive player of the year.
So I have Micah tickets, so I love Micah, but man, that's anybody's guess still. It's probably going to be Micah just because TJ has gotten it recently. Micah doesn't have one, and Garrett just doesn't look the same right now with that shoulder injury. I think his stats are going to tail off. If that team tails off as well, that's going to hurt him. So we'll give it to Parsons.
You have any Deron Bland tickets?
No, I couldn't sell myself on it. I'm just like, it's just huge high leverage, plays that maybe, they're huge GPA plays, but it's not consistent.
The boomer bust was on full display last Thursday.
It's crazy.
All right, last but not least, most valuable player.
There's like 6 guys here too. I'd probably give it to Dak right now. Like, it was right now, because he's gonna lose it because these games that are coming up are so hard. They have 3 of the last 4 on the road. He's probably gonna screw this up somehow, but right now he's the most deserving. None of the other top quarterbacks are either putting up the numbers or have the record or have the wow factor right now. And the Cowboys offense is amazing. So Dak over Purdy narrowly for me.
I like hearing that. I took Dak 40-1.
There you go.
3 weeks ago. And I threw in a little Purdy 14-1 before the Eagles game, but I wasn't able to get anything down really. but it's there.
So you have Cowboys. So you have Cowboys money line already this week too.
Exactly. That's
yeah. You
what I'm
can't have the Eagles screwing this up.
No. But yeah, here we go. All right. I appreciate you doing this. I had a blast getting the chat. What do you have to plug? Where can people find you? Floor is yours.
Oh, my Twitter handle's right underneath. It's across my shirt here at Andy MSFW. We do the deep dive pod every Sunday, every Wednesday. We go over every game for the NFL. We do our halftime shows Monday, Thursday, Sunday. Halftime of the primetime. It's all on the same YouTube channel, BetSports Media, and then the newsletter. You can find that right. I have a link right on my Twitter. 6 days a week, NFL newsletter, putting out all my thoughts, any bets I'm making, any info I can try to help you guys along with. You can check that out too. It is free always. I'm not going to charge for a newsletter because that seems like a silly thing to do. It's just words, man. It's just words.
It's a great follow, his Twitter account. The podcast is awesome, and the newsletter is very insightful. So couldn't recommend it enough to all you watching at home. All right. Well, I hope you have a very happy and healthy holiday season and happy new year, and we will chat soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.